So don't you dare come here and try to associate fraud to the PNC, the APNU and the AFC. Nowhere is it documented, but what is documented is all that was exposed for the People's Progressive Party. Fraud is under your skin and in your eyes.
Mr. Speaker, they claim to be doing this to be preventing rigging, but the real rigging is being built into the system by design. Mr. Speaker, that is what is happening here.
Girl, what I tell you, I'm sorry for you. I'm really sorry for you. I don't know when the election results come out, how you will end up when the election results come out and you all lose again. And you know what? Although the honorable member is hardworking, they will not even consider her for a seat next go wrong.
All of those things they will talk about riggers. You know, they have such a fascination with riggers. They're collecting a lot of them. Of recent, you will see a lot of what they tout as endorsement of the same people they accuse of rigging one day, and they are welcome into the bosom of the PPP the next.
During a parliamentary session, Honourable Ganesh Mahipal strongly criticised the People's Progressive Party, PPP, accusing them of repeated electoral misconduct. Mahipal pointed out past incidents, including the unauthorised nomination of a candidate and the inclusion of a deceased person's name on a candidate support list in 2023, which prompted an apology from the Vice President. Mahipal also referenced a 2018 case where the PPP had to withdraw from a constituency due to irregularities with signatures. Further, the opposition member claimed that the PPP has a long history of electoral fraud, alleging a rigged internal party election in the 1960s. He insisted that, unlike the PPP, the APNU and AFC have never been involved in such controversies and rejected any attempt to link fraud to them. The MP concluded with a call for a clean voters list and fair electoral processes.
The APNU, AFC, the APNU by itself, the AFC by itself, we have never had those kinds of situations before GECOM. The only political party that has always had fraud labeled to them in their manner of doing things was the People's Progressive Party. And I remind the Honorable Zulfikar Mustafa that in a book written by Baram Singh Rai, where he spoke about the 1960 internal People's Progressive Party election, he documented how Dr. Jagan favored and rigged the system to favor Brintley Ben over him for the position as General Secretary. So don't you dare come here and try to associate fraud to the PNC, the APNU and the AFC. Nowhere is it documented, but what is documented is all that was exposed for the People's Progressive Party. Fraud is under your skin and in your eyes. We all can see it.
Honourable Amanza Walton Desire, opposition member in the National Assembly, accused the government and the Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, of undermining electoral integrity through recent legislative changes and actions. The MP slammed amendments to the electoral process, including shortened deadlines for claims and objections, arguing that these changes reduce transparency and accountability. She likened the reforms to removing the locks after a security breach, asserting that the changes are designed to legally manipulate the system under the guise of reform. Honourable Amanza Walton Desire further warned that including non-residents on the voters list is not a clerical mistake, but a deliberate attempt to manipulate the outcome of elections, potentially allowing foreign interference in Guyana's democratic process. The MP called the government's actions reckless and accused them of laying the groundwork to steal future elections. MP Walton urged vigilance and action, stating that the real danger to democracy lies in compromising the integrity of the electoral process long before election day. Silence, she said, would amount to complicity in the erosion of democracy.
Mr. Speaker, They claim to be doing this to be preventing rigging, but the real rigging is being built into the system by design. Mr. Speaker, that is what is happening here. Through this weakened claims and objections period, Mr. Speaker, and these quiet changes to the law, and then Nandal will come and say, Mr. Speaker, this is a small amendment. It ought not to draw debate, but wrapped in all of that charm and guile is a degree of wickedness and capriciousness that we have to call out, Mr. Speaker. This is not reform like he is saying. This is not reform, this is rigging. This is rigging in advance. This is rigging by law. And this is rigging under the cover of legitimacy. And so, Mr. Speaker, while they flood the airways with their propaganda and they smear others as the threats to democracy, they're coming here and they're laying the groundwork. They're laying the groundwork to steal the upcoming elections long before any Guyanese casts their first vote. They want Guyanese to be trapped in the past whilst they actively sabotage our future. Mr. Speaker, let us be very clear that putting people on the voters list who do not live here and who do not meet the requirements is not a clerical error. It is an attack on the sovereign will of the people of Guyana, because what it does, Mr. Speaker, is that it creates a dangerous opening for non-Guyanese to be injected into our political processes, giving them the ability to undermine us from within, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I will end by saying this. This conduct, the attitude of this government is reckless, and it exposes us and it exposes our political system to infiltration by those who would seek to undermine the territorial integrity of this nation. And I know that the people of Guyana know what I'm talking about. Mr. Speaker, I will end by saying this, and I will end by saying this without apology, that if we remain silent and if we refuse to act, we are complicit in our own disenfranchisement. Mr. Speaker, elections are not won on voting day. They are lost based on the lack of integrity of the process. And when that process is compromised, Mr. Speaker, elections is a performance. It's just a mere act. Mr. Speaker, the outcome is a lie. And I'm ending by saying to the people of Guyana that the PPP has shown us what they are prepared to do. The question now is what we are prepared to do to stop them.
Foreign Affairs Minister Amanza Walton Desire responded sharply to criticisms from President Irfan Ali, who questioned her credibility and moral authority, accusing her of being involved in undemocratic actions during a controversial political period in Guyana. Walton Desire dismissed his remarks as nonsense and said she would not tolerate foolishness. She criticised the president for focusing on personal attacks instead of addressing pressing national issues such as law enforcement accountability and the unsolved murder of Adriana Young. She also condemned the government's actions against protesters and its failure to address police corruption, citing recent US sanctions against a senior police officer. In response, President Ali defended his associations with individuals previously accused of anti-democratic behaviour, stating that they have acknowledged their past and are now committed to democratic progress in Guyana.
This is a person who was involved in the 5 years of destruction. This was a person who was at the center stage of rigging an election, at the center stage of trying to steal the will of the people, and suddenly speaking about the moral compass. The moral compass. Something is wrong. And they're unapologetic about it. They see no reason as to why they should admit their sins in moving forward. So these persons are not only moving forward, they're explaining upon what platform they're moving forward. They're moving forward knowing that they're part of something better, better for Guyana, better for the society, better for democracy, better for the rule of law, and that they're removing themselves from something that did not represent this.
During a heated parliamentary debate, Honourable Mohabir Anil Nandlal MP blamed the opposition over their incompetent handling of the 2020 election, noting that while countries with over 48 million voters can declare results in under 48 hours, Guyana took 5 months to count 600,000 ballots. Nandlal ridiculed the opposition for losing 15 court cases related to the election and predicted further defeat in the next polls.
And the honourable member has spoken a long time about GECOM and the operations there. Now, I have heard a lot spoken over the last few months, the last few years. It is important to note that since 2020 and a lot of bogus charges that were brought against a lot of members of GECOM and elsewhere, you have not had one conviction with a plethora of evidence that the Honorable Attorney General has stated lots of time in the public domain it exists and can to truckloads of evidence. You have had not one single conviction in 5 years. As a matter of fact, we will go to the next elections with matters pending from the last election, and that is an indictment on this government who has sought every turn to come here and lecture us about good governance and accountability, and you name the whole gamut of it, and they will come here and they will pretend as though their last internal PPP conference wasn't rigged, and and all of those things. They will talk about rigors. They have such a fascination with rigors. They're collecting a lot of them. Of recent, you will see a lot of what they tout as endorsement of the same people they accuse of rigging one day, and they are welcome into the bosom of the PPP the next. If the PPP wants to enter into a coalition with the APNU AFC, they only need to ask, and we bring them to the table and we say, but they see this is a backdoor government. So they want to come through the back door, and they've been accepting a lot of these people who, as I said, one day they are riggers, and the next day they are welcomed with open arms, including a member of the National Assembly here who has usurped a seat for many months. But we were never fooled. The Guyanese people were never fooled. We knew who kept her here. We knew that if there was political will in the assembly, we could return that seat to the rightful owner of the seat. That rigged process, that we could return it. And I don't even want to...
Please remember to subscribe to our channel, like the video, and put your comments below. Hit the notification bell for more updates on the latest events happening in the region and around the world. Thank you, and we love you all.